Hey there. I'm gonna warm up the bike a little extra today and put on extra gloves because I'm in St. John's proper, not St. John, Newfoundland, and it is cold as fuck. It's fucking June, it's still fucking 3 degrees. Oh, it's got fucking snow and everything. Gonna go to Cobb Tower at Signal Hill. Half the roads aren't finished, of course, but we'll talk about that in a sec. Let me see. So St. John's, Newfoundland, or Newfoundland, is I guess the biggest city, and I think it's the capital. Which is kind of funny. I mean, they got nice houses, kind of like Halifax. But most of the Atlantic Canada has these kind of Victorian flats. And, what to say here? I don't know. I guess this is the main Coast Guard base for Canada. Seems to be enough of those Coast Guard ships in town. And it's not very big. It's about the size of Nanaimo in BC. So it's not huge. It's famous for its bars, or bars as they call them. On George Street, which is like, I don't know, I guess it's supposed to be like Newfie Bourbon Street. And they'll tell you there's a million pubs, but it's like literally only 2 blocks long. And yeah, it's basically just 2 strip clubs and a bunch of restaurant pubs. And that's it. That's just 2 blocks of that. Newfies definitely tend to overhype it, I think. But I don't blame them. There doesn't seem to be much on this place. It literally is just a fucking rock with short little trees, and the roads are all crap. Not as bad as the States, though. The number 1 highway is still not as bad as some of the interstates. Actually, here, let's go down George Street. I don't think I can go down all of it. George Street access. Yeah, I can go down this part. There's a strip club 1. There's another strip club. And that's it. The rest are going to be pubs. Oh no, there's a 3rd, 4th strip club. No, that's it. Everything else is pubs from there on. It's not that impressive, actually. Of course, I'm biased. I've been to Bourbon Street. I've been to a lot of other places. As far as Atlantic is concerned, I think I'm more impressed with Halifax than I am with St. John's. Now, that being said, Newfies are extremely friendly if they're from here. But that's about it. I guess you come to Newfoundland for the people, not for Newfoundland. But I might just be bitter because it's so fucking cold. Anyways, as you can see, it's mostly old houses. There's a couple of shops, the business districts down there. I mean, it's interesting, I guess. I haven't given it much of a chance. I'm just Not happy about this fucking temperature. It's fucking June. Let's see here. The road here wasn't too bad. Actually, the Canadian number 1 isn't as bad. I think I talked about that already. And what was I gonna say again? Actually, I guess I should say too, just for all the Americans out there, Newfoundland is it's the newest province, actually, even though it probably has the oldest history. The first English in North America basically came here. And then that's John Cabot, who's actually technically Italian. Of course, all the early navigators were Italian, including Christopher Columbus. But yeah, John Cabot was, sent for the same reason, really, because the British were jealous of the English, and they landed here and came up with the imaginative name of Newfoundland, which I realize in the way I've always said it was Newfoundland, but Newfoundland. I don't even say the land part, usually just and then of course the accents are super thick here. It's a little bit closer to Cape Breton actually in sounding, but a little bit more Irish-like. Well, there's St. John's. And there's the tower. And there's the other coast. It's about as far as east as I can go, I think. Let's go look at the mouth of the harbor. So on the other side there, that lighthouse, if you look at it too, it looked like they had some sort of gun mount. So I'm gonna go take a look, see if I can get to it. So this is the downtown business district. I came down yesterday, I think. Yeah, down there. But I'm gonna try this Jobs Cove. I haven't been down here yet. It's mostly just shops down that way. There's a Coast Guard ship. another one, I think. No, that's different. Oh, it's some sort of company, never mind. So just to let you know, since again most of my followers are American, I think, our Coast Guard's not the same as your Coast Guard. It's set up completely different. It's part of the fisheries. I think they really just kind of enforce fishing stuff. I don't think they have any police stuff like the U.S. Coast Guard can do, because the U.S. Coast Guard's technically a law enforcement agency that's part of the Navy and part of Homeland Defense. I don't quite know how they have it set up too. Ours is part of fisheries, but they have to use the RCMP for any police stuff. So, and then they do search and rescue, I think. But again, they also work with the Air Force for anything like that too. So, all the search and rescue helicopters are Air Force, I think, with yellow and red. I don't think they're actually part of the Coast Guard. Not quite sure how it sets up there. It's kind of a weird mixture of different agencies if you get lost in the sea, I guess. And then all the enforcement stuff is all done. All the defense stuff is done by the armed military, the Royal Canadian Navy. So it's, yeah, a bunch of agencies doing different things on the oceans, I guess. Kind of the opposite of the RCMP. Like in the States, the RCMP's job is done by a whole bunch of different organizations. Well, here it's just done by one. Opposite's done for, like I said, anything in the oceans. It's a mixture of the Coast Guard, Navy, Air Force, RC and RCMP. But I do know they run Coast Guard runs the hovercrafts, and they run a cutter. Well, they're not cutters, they're called something else. They run the iceberg breakers there, the icebreakers. Oh, that's not it. The ferries are not bad, actually. They take off twice a day, and they take about 4 hours if you go to Port Basque. Which is like spelt in French, like the AUX and all that stuff, but they just call it Port Basque here. And there's another ferry, but it doesn't start until June 17th, and I'm not gonna fucking wait that long, so I have to trek all the way across the island again and get on a night ferry and hopefully get a room, because last time I just grabbed a room and slept there overnight, and then in the morning we were in Newfoundland. I just jumped on my bike and took off again. So it's nice in that regard, but it was so cold I had to stop by a Canadian Tire and get some extra gloves to go underneath my leather gloves, and I got some Hot Pockets, the little chemical heat pads that you can take out of the box. You shake it around and they generate heat for a couple hours, and I just stuck those in my gloves, between the two gloves, and I stuck two in my boots and strapped two to my hips, and well, my thighs actually, right here, because it gets cold. And just was able, after that it was pretty comfortable. So, you know, I was able to do the rest of the journey without going hypothermia. So yeah, if you're coming here in fucking June, which should be the rest of, I mean, I was looking at the weather reports. Vancouver's getting like 30 degrees Celsius weather, and here it's like just hovering around 3-5 degrees. I'm like, ugh, why does anyone want to live here? I mean, it's pretty, I guess. But sorry, I'll still put the West Kootenay up against, you know, the sites here any day. But I'm getting some regional biased, I think, so I guess I better shut up. Huh. Okay. That's closed off, I guess. Well, I'm not gonna bother then. Fuck it. Got a nice view of the harbor, I guess. Well, I'm in Cape Spear, and you can't see much right now, but I did get some good shots on my Instagram if you want to check that out. The fog just rolled in, so there's two lighthouses up there, but you can't really see them. There's a great waterfront right there, but you can't see that either. I felt the bike warm up again, because it's so cold you leave it. It's back to fucking being ice cold. I like to fucking go at around... It starts hitting about 950 RPM. Which is just starting to hit now. Yeah, it's starting to hit 950 right now. So, good enough for me. Anyways, so that's my Newfoundland trip. There's a cool lighthouse out here and some really nice views. The fog came in, ruined it all, obviously. As I was saying before. It's a nice little road, dude. This Blackhead Road. About 20 minutes from St. John's. Yeah, it's okay trip. It's just fucking cold. You know, I guess they're telling me it doesn't hit summer here until July, and it goes on until September. But you know, I at this point cannot wait to get back to Vancouver, or at least to the Kootenays. I guess I should talk about Newfie. Newfoundland's got quite the culture. If you don't know, it wasn't even part of Canada until 1949, when it failed, basically failed as a colony financially, and they had either an option to join Canada or join the States or try to make it as a colony by itself, and they decided to join Canada. You know, I think makes some sense at the time. Probably wanted to probably stay with their Britishness, and in the late 40s, Canada was still pretty British. What else? They got a lot of Irish traditions here. Actually, there's a lot of, Gaelic even in some communities that are spoken in the backwoods areas. And even some people argue that it's part of the Celtic fringe. Since there's so many Irish and Scotch that came from the homelands, that the dialects are still strong here. So you get a lot of the Irish and sea shanty type of music, and a lot of their own songs here. But so does Nova Scotia with all their Scotch influence and Irish influence. Cape Breton being probably the strongest, I guess. Newfoundland definitely has a different food culture. They got these little tauntauns, I forget what they're called. They're fried biscuits. Really, they're quite good. They got their own things with fries. They love fries and gravy, which is a lot of people in BC do too. So, but what makes it different is they add this like well, they call it dressing. It's Saint something dressing. And it's like breadcrumbs. It's more like stuffing, like turkey stuffing, but really kind of ground up kind of finely. And it's actually pretty good. And they use it with the gravy, and I guess you pour the gravy on, and pour the stuff on, and it tastes really quite good. I had some last night. They got cod tongues, but that's all through the Maritimes, I think. They were not that good. I'm not a fan of them. But, you know, I guess if you're a tourist, you might as well try it out. But I think I'll stick with fish and chips and lobster from now on. There's some more stuff I gotta try, but for the most part, they love bologna here, or bologna. I forget how they say it, but basically, they fry bologna and they treat it like the English treat spam. So, or the Hawaiians treat spam, I guess. Mask is fogging up too well right now. Fuck me. Anyways, I'm gonna start calling it there. I'll edit these videos I have on my GoPros and put them up. It's just cold and wet here. Then I'm gonna take off to the ferry, see if I can do it in one go, and then stay overnight and head back to the Maritimes, and then try to make my way over through Quebec. And I'll stay in Quebec City for 2 nights, and then Montreal for 2 nights, and Toronto for 2 nights, and actually Ottawa. I'll do Ottawa for 2 nights. And then I'm gonna see a friend of mine in North Harbor, and then slowly make my way to the prairies, check out Regina and all that. And actually, I really want to stop by the Mounties Depot and take a look at that, which is like the Mounties Academy. And then see my brother in Calgary, hopefully, if he's still there. And then I'm gonna bunker down with my parents for a bit, talk about life, try to figure out what I'm gonna do. Like, I've been thinking of just moving back home for a bit and paying them $500 a month instead of me paying $1,000 a month for the apartment in Vancouver. Just be for the summer. So we'll see what happens. And yeah, I'll call it there. Hit like, all that, and see you in my next stop. Later.